Hi guys, today we're going to take a look at some questions and answers of our poem Krisis. All the analysis of all the DBE Afrikaans poems have already been posted, so take a look at that. 1.1. Hierdie gedig is 'n voorbeeld van 'n Italiaanse sonnet, gee 2 bewyse. So they're saying that this poem is an example of an Italian sonnet and you have to give 2 pieces of evidence to show that that is correct. So we know that it's an octave. The poem is made out of an octave and a sestet. And there's also a rymende couplet. So that could be your 2 pieces of evidence. You could also even write out the rhyme schema for them. You could say A, B, B, A, C, D, A, B, B, A, C, B, B, C, D, E, E, and D, F, F. So you can write out the rhyme schema for them. And that could be your 2 pieces of evidence. Hoekom gebruik die digter, so the poet, elisie, contraction in real 3? What is contraction? So for example, in English we say don't. That is a contraction. So in real 3, why do they use elisie? In Afrikaans, elisie is usually used for, so, elisie, die woorde word verkort om die ritme van die gedig in te pas. Wat word die eerste strofe genoem wat uit 8 reels bestaan? So a stanza that consists of 8 lines is a octave. Wat is die funksie van die aandagstreep in reel 1? So what is the function of the aandagstreep? So there's a little dash, right, in line 1. And what is that function? It's going to give us an explanation, a verduideliking. Verduideliking of what? A verduideliking van wie ons is. Because remember the poem says, ons twee gaan skei. So that aandagstreep there is going to tell us who is going to separate. 1.5. Verduidelik die kontras. Explain the contrast wat in die gedig voorkom na aanleiding van reël 1, 6 en 8. So you have to explain the contrast as it is in line 1, 6 and 8. So in the first line, all right, you see that brain and heart, brain is still referring to heart as hart, right? Still a lot of respect there, we're still working good together. But then in line 6 and 8, brain's tone changes. He no longer refers to heart as heart, but he says things like lafaard, hart is sick, hart is a las. So he uses those words in line 6 and 8 like lafaard, las. But in line 1 he still refers to heart as hart. So that still shows that respect, love, etc. Wat dink jy? They like asking these questions. What do you think? Just to see whether you as the matriculant, DBE matriculant, is still or thought about the poem. Right? So what do you think the theme is? So the theme is obvious, quite obvious in this poem, right? There's a conflict, a crisis. So it is die innerlike konflik. Or you could say that is die konflik tussen hart en brein dis die konflik tussen emosies en rede of hart en brein. Doesn't matter. Kies die korrekte antwoord. So choose the correct answer. Only write down the correct letter next to 1.7. Jy was die gasheer by die fees, die seremoniemeester en die nar. So, this line is saying that you were the guest and the host, and the master of ceremonies and the clown, for example. So, what is that? Is it 'n versie, metafoor, vergelyking or enjambement? So it's not so you can do the elimination method here if you don't know, but it is a metaphor because there is a direct comparison. They are directly comparing, or brain is directly comparing heart to being a guest and a host. He's not saying you were like or you are like. He's not saying like. He's just saying you are. So it's a direct comparison and that is why it's a metaphor. 1.8. Wat is die kerngedagte van die sestet? So what is the core idea of the sestet? So the sestet's core idea is where, heart and brain is starting to realize, especially brain is starting to realize, look, we really can't work together. And remember, he gives all those reasons, and he like finally makes up his mind and says, nah, like we really can't work together, right? So hulle besef, I'm just gonna write it here, 1.8. Hulle besef dat hulle nie saam kan werk nie. 1.9. Benoem die rymskema in strofe 1. So they want you to benoem it. So in strofe 1, we there have omarmde rym. So you can actually also write out A, B, B, A, C, B, B, C. Do you see it's omarmd? Omarmd, like giving someone a hug. 1.10. Hier moet ons skei. Here we have to separate. Wat beteken hierdie? So you can say die hart en brein of verstand moet geskei word. They must go their own ways. They must go their separate ways. 1.11. Gee 'n voorbeeld van die volgende uit die gedig. So now you have to go take out of the poem examples of alliteration, assonance, and a vergelyking. So an example of alliteration is, if you guys just take you up to 1.7. Gas en gasheer. So you would take out that line and underline G and G. Right? So that would be your alliteration, for example. But there's a ton more in the poem. You can go take a look. Assonance. In reel 2, there's assonance. The assonance of A and also A with an EI. So you can go underline all the A's and all the EI's. So you take out the whole line and then you underline it, the A's and the EI's. Vergelyking is in reel 6 and 7. So you'd write down voorwarend en 'n lafaard soos altyd en nooit in staat tot enige besluit. That is your vergelyking. Line 6 and 7. Wat 'n lewenswaarheid het jy uit die gedig gekry? So they will take your interpretation. What life's truth or reality did you get out of this poem? So you could say, oh, it's better to follow your mind than your heart when you have to make decisions. So dis beter om jou verstand as jou emosies te gebruik as jy besluite moet neem, or something along those lines. Anything would get you the mark. And that is it, guys. That is Krisis done and dusted. Come back for the next poem. See ya.